What is this tribal loyalty? It's family. It's communion. It's the greater self. I see myself as part of this. The whole family is myself, not just narrowly me. I'm born of this family and sustained, cared for by this family. This is the tribal experience of the nomad. He doesn't have the established national state. I own the territory. It's not that. The territory is there, and I'm a wanderer in it. This world, this material being, is held in God's mind. It's there. And as a child, I have a freedom in it. And I take this freedom. If there's a fruit tree there, I eat of it. I simply take it. It's not that it is mine, but it's not that I own. I'm a wanderer here. It's available to me. So we have this nomad mentality of a view of a greater self, not a nation. It's not that I am a territory. The territory just is, and it provides life for me. I forage where I do. I hunt where I do. I dwell where I choose. I have this great freedom, in a sense, because of my greater self, the family. We are proof against, if you like, the cold, the wildlife. In other words, we're experiencing the fullness of the garden that we find we're in. And it's variable. There are some things that are poisonous. We know from our culture not to touch it. There are some creatures we can't handle except as a group. So we do. There are others we subject, like the horse. So we do. There's changing climate, heat, and cold. So we have fires, keep us warm in winter. We worship the fire, but when the sun goes down, we still have the fire. Else we could die of the cold. We know what we value. We worship it. There's another place which is called a garden. It's a place of plenty, of flowing waters, of more stable climate, maritime if you like. rivers, waters, peace, provision. Localized, yes. Beyond is just the desert. It's Eden. It's a place of safety from the harshness of the elements, the variability. Just provided we find water there. It's our ideal home in a way. Place of love and provision, kindness, sustenance. The sort of place you search for on the plains or in the desert. Place of plenty. We value that greatly. So we value baptism of water and the baptism of fire. The blessing. The doorway to life eternal. We get baptized. But it's not just the baptism of Eden. It's the baptism of that outside of Eden. But we're not exposed to that until adult life. Or, if you like, adolescence, teenage life. Where we leave, in the Buddhist sense, the palace grounds and go out and see the reality of the city. Baptism of fire. In Buddhist terms, sickness, old age and death. Don't like it. It's dangerous stuff. I choose heaven. I choose Eden. I choose the continual provision of God. Not the great want of the central Eurasian plain. Do you see, dear one? This desire, this need for heaven is great. The Scythian takes it, rides his horse. As Jesus says, the kingdom of heaven is taken by force. Wanders until he finds what he wants and takes it. Volition, action. But you need to be an adult. You need to be taking the right thing. And in modern 21st century terms, you need to be mindful of what happens when you take. In other words, you need to care for the creation, not just feed off it. And that's what communion is. It's a fellowship that blesses all the family. What we see as loving kindness, provision for all, care of all, and the will and the determination, the loyalty to do such, the volition, the drive. It's the male and the female notion, isn't it? The motherly provision and the fatherly will and determination, loyalty. This is our God, because these are our values. They are necessary for the creation and the sustenance of life. What we have eternally, and by the grace and the goodness of our heavenly parent, who culturally we have called Dad, but we could have called Mother. It depends on the culture. What it amounts to is the Jesus story. I've not called you servants, I've called you friends. For I've shared with you everything that my Father has given, all his understanding, namely that he is Heavenly Dad, your Heavenly Parent. Specifically, that he loves us. Dearest friend, I'm come that you might have life, true life, and have it more abundantly. Life eternal. Welcome to the kingdom of heaven, for this is life eternal, to know him, to know thee, the only true God, and the way. The story is to show you the way. You identify with the hero, Jesus. For a moment or two in the story, that's who you are. And you realize that's what you truly value. And so you find you have entered in. You want God to be with all your being in gratitude for all that is. You choose to trust. You find you trust. You want to trust. You are transformed, translated, transcendent into life eternal, the kingdom of heaven is within you always. I will never leave you nor forsake you, saith the Lord. Thank you, Heavenly